Get going so you can get the magic happening.
Chris is gonna go grab a drink. I might go grab a drink too. We have rum now. I like rum.
Did you not? You didn't have rum before? That's just like a new thing, a new addition to your house?
Yeah. Yeah, before I usually drink coffee during these, which is weird because it's always at night.
What?
But then I stay up and binge write and it works out.
All right. Aaron, when we start at the beginning, I'll introduce myself, and then we'll just go alphabetically across. It's like from left to right on the bottom of the bar. So you'll be right after me introducing yourself. Just say your name and your username, and we might circle back to you, and we'll have you let everybody know what team you're rooting for, etc.
Yeah.
Okay.
People should be familiar with you since you've been on here before, but
Yeah.
not
Well,
everybody.
it was like the third one in this year. Is that the one?
Yeah.
What's that?
All right. Cool. Awesome. Good. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week of the /MLS cast. My name is Chris. I'm Reddit username PatLaneups11. What else we got here? The whole gang? Most of us? Aaron, you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, my name is Aaron. Username Timber Flynn.
Oh, I'm Ian. Username Armascarhu.
And I'm Pete, username Punk Rock Pete.
Now, Aaron, we've had one with us before. Your username is Timber Flynn. What team would you say you're a fan of? Just so everybody knows going in.
Portland, I think.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Now, Aaron, I could be way off base here because there's enough of you guys that post regularly. Are you one of the Timbers fans that's removed from Portland? Are you the Texas guy, or is that somebody else?
I'm the Texas guy.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
And just to keep a running tally, Ian's a big DC fan, even though he's probably a bigger Minnesota FC fan from what I can tell.
That's not at all true. I kind of like
I'm
them.
going to cut you off there. Pete loves Seattle. During just before the whole thing started, he's a bit of a bandwagon fan. I'm sure he would agree with that. And I'll
Yeah,
just talk
absolutely.
before he can even respond. Of course, I'm a Columbus fan, and I'm pure at heart. I think that's the rundown of everybody's allegiances here.
I thought we were talking about how far removed we are. We've got Aaron, who is a Timbers fan in Texas. We've got Ian, who is a DC fan in Minnesota. Chris, where are you?
I am in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, you're repping the city. All right. I am also in my city. I'm in Seattle, but not originally
I
from.
was living in DC for a while, but I made it back this way.
Our normal Timbers guy is not in Portland this week. He's in Kyrgyzstan or something. Where is he, Ian? Where did you say he was?
Tajikistan, so close.
Close, almost.
It's a little less racist than in the made-up one.
No,
but
I
it's close.
actually think he's in Turkey,
Oh, okay, all right.
which is But he might be in. He might have ended up in Tajikistan though. I mean, that'd be fun.
And also, what was I about to say, guys? I don't know. Let's talk about some games this week. We had a bit of a rivalry week there going.
Now, is it just me, or did we not, and by we, of course, I mean the league, not push rivalry week nearly as hard this year until kind of the last second? Like,
Well,
I
think
it wasn't-
at
it
that
wasn't-
point they were pushing more the Seattle-Portland than they were the rest of the matches going.
that's what I mean, but then at the last second, they kind of started calling it rivalry week because then they were like, oh, well, it's also the Texas Derby, and it's also, who else did we have? We had,
Chivas and Galaxy. Which
yeah,
is,
exactly, the Super Classico. So,
You have Columbus and Toronto and the Trillium Cup,
Yeah.
the just tournament.
And Sporting and Real Salt Lake wasn't even promoted really much at all, but that was a huge game.
Yeah, and honestly, they've actually developed a pretty nice rivalry over the last couple of seasons. So
Oh yeah.
Also, let's just throw USA-Mexico into the fire while we're at it.
right,
Oh, yeah.
sure.
yeah, that's very true. You can't call it a rivalry week though without DC New York.
I think you can. I think a lot of
No,
people have.
I think it's against the rules.
Don't tell me what to do.
You know, I gotta say, with New York's current form, I feel like that might be a better game than people give it credit for.
Yeah, no, I fully expect us to beat New York this week.
Wow. Well, let's talk about what already
4-0.
happened before we jump into next week.
Before we
my bold
jump on
prediction out of the way.
delusions of next week.
Right, exactly.
Where do you guys want to start? You want to start with the national team? You want to start in Portland? We can start anywhere you want.
Well, the national team happened like a week ago. I don't want to get into that right now. I just want to talk about who sucked and who people thought sucked, but definitely didn't.
Let's say Portland and Seattle, because boy, did our defenses suck. How about that?
Oh yeah, Paparazzo and God.
Annie Baba on my side, and yeah,
Szymanski for the 3 minutes he was in.
Well, Pete, you are starting a Chicago Fire cast-off, so that's your own problem.
A Chicago Fire. I'm not following.
Ani Baba.
Oh, we're starting him. Yeah, well, yeah, that's absolutely true. You know, we've got a pretty good history of dumping our leftovers on Chicago. We've kind of sent them used up players a lot over the last couple of years.
They finally returned the favor.
Yeah. You know, honestly, I think he's going to turn out to be a lot stronger than he was in that game. He looked really good in preseason, and you know, with some defensive lapses aside, I think he'll have a much better season than that predicts, especially because he's not going to be the starter. Jimmy Traore is going to be the starter for half of the year until his old age shows, and you know, he needs to be a lot more rotational. But that said, it was a hell of a game.
This isn't going how I was hoping it would. Can we just get so we'll just have like Aaron and Pete fight, and then me and Ian will just egg it on as we go along. That's what I'm really hoping for here.
Well, good luck with that. I was just happy to see Diego Chara get a goal, and he got 2 of them because the last time he scored was 2011. And it just happened to be his birthday on Saturday, and he got 2 beautiful goals. I don't care if the defense helped us out a little bit, but they were pretty.
Oh yeah, they were absolutely gorgeous. I mean, he should have been shut down. You know, it's ridiculous the amount of time and space that he was given, but he absolutely exploited that. And yeah, they were great looking. I mean, honestly, every single goal that Portland scored was beautiful. I mean, they were, regardless of how they came to be. That was 4 amazing goals. I mean, yeah, Valeri, sure, he can probably miss that an inch or 2 higher and it bounces off the post, but the fact is he did it. You know, to me, it looked very, very Freddie Montero-esque, the way that he was able to, you know, turn right on the defender, chip it right. I mean, it was a beautiful goal, you know, that you can't take anything. I know that's, that's not the best compliment, Aaron.
But Timbers' goal by saying it's very Freddie Montero-esque.
That's the biggest compliment I can give, because nobody could score goals like Freddie could, especially in Portland. And I mean, and then Rudy had another amazing goal. You know,
that goal was beautiful. The bend around Fry, you know, and it was such an easy one-on-one chance, but you know, his placement on that was perfect. And I'm not a big fan of Rudy's. I mean, I don't like guys that dive, and I think that he still has that whole mentality where I'm going to just draw the foul, kind of like Yedlin right now. But did you read his comment about that? He said he was looking for contact on that PK. He did get contact, but he was going to go to ground either way, he said.
Yeah, you know, I definitely, it's tough being on this side because anything I see, you know, say is going to be homerist, but I'd like to hear that from more players, not just on my team. Like, let's be honest, he wants to win the game. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, at least he was honest about it. Like, there's nothing worse than a guy who's going to dive and be like, there was contact, and he's going to argue with the ref, and you know, there was significant contact. I've watched that replay enough times that I think.
Oh, there was contact.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
He's going to go to the ground on that one, but I mean, it was it was a hell of a game.
So circling back to Chara. Aaron, I know you said Chara hasn't scored in like 3 years. Is that something you guys have you guys been egging him on to shoot more? That's just been his problem, that he's got an open space and he just doesn't shoot, or what's the deal there?
I mean, if he takes more shots, he's going to get more chances, but usually he doesn't. He's more of like our defensive mid. He's our, I mean, for lack of better words, he's he's our bash brother. You know, he's, and I think he's been playing in the league for 3 years, and he's already in the top 100 most fouls committed in the league, and he's only been playing for 3 years.
You pair that with Will Johnson and Pamaru Ka, and you guys
how does he not have back-to-back red cards? Like, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I didn't see the first one too well because the one against Dallas, because I was actually at that game and I had my back turned most of the time helping lead Chance. But the second one, I was like, oh, great, he's getting a red. Yellow?
So
I'll take it.
The first one looks almost identical. He just gets less contact, so it's just as dangerous of a play. It's just he doesn't actually make as much contact as he did in the Portland home game. But man,
Ka's a great player. He's an all right player, but he's a fiery presence on the field. But when Footy's back in there with him in the back line, which is what we probably will see Saturday. Because I don't see Paparazzo starting over Footy. Footy Donzo always starts like third string and finds his way starting. I don't get it. He's a great player though. But for some reason Footy brings a calming presence to Ka. And so we'll see.
So I feel like we've had a few South American backliners come into the league this year. Or maybe not South American, just like foreign backliners, and only a couple of them have worked out, and the only ones that have worked out play for Columbus. Whereas you guys have
you don't have the ability to dive from the back line as much, so they're not as built for that.
Oh snap! Take that, an entire continent. Do my best to paint P as racist this entire thing.
Fantastic.
No one in South America can do anything else. I still think we just got really lucky with Gonzalez. I don't know where he came from, except for that he came from Costa Rica, but he has just been a rock on the back line for us.
Yeah, our guy has been the opposite of a rock. He's been like a ghost. Christian, he's supposed to come from La Liga and supposed to be amazing. And
I think I don't think a ghost is the right metaphor, because that would he would at least have to scare the other team.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He's more like a tunnel.
a slight breeze.
He's actually he's literally a tunnel, because on Chicago's second goal that tied it up a couple weeks ago, the guy just went Nyarko just went right through his legs. So.
And Chris, while we're throwing the racist card around, I do want to remind you that Costa Rica is not in South America, just so we're all on the same page. That's Central America.
Well, see, if we want to go back and do this whole thing, you said South American players in the first place.
I corrected myself and said foreign because I knew Christian's from Spain.
So I don't even have to worry about it being in South America.
CONCACAF, that's fair. I guess my experience with CONCACAF players and diving is definitely like Aaron said. There's some guys on his team that are known for going down a little light, and Montero and Mauro Rosales were certainly known for it. It's just a different culture. I mean, we see it when we play those CCL games. It's 100% a legitimate strategy as far as they're concerned.
Yeah. I think we got Waylon Francis on our backline from Costa Rica as well, and we've definitely seen it in him. He is playing those games, and hopefully some of the coaches and the players are trying to talk them out of that, because they're not going to get away with it too often.
I feel like you see that too. I feel like the longer they're in the league, the more they adjust, and they're going to have it for life, but it won't be every play. Every run in the box doesn't require falling down.
Yeah, when Chara came into the league, he did go to ground easily, but looking at him now, he stays on his feet more often than not. And so maybe it's just, players saying, hey, we don't do that in this league. Like, that's not – you're not going to get the call every time. Our refs suck. So
all right.
Anything else to say about the snooze fest that was the Cascadia match?
Oh, what a terrible game! No,
so boring. God, there were so many comments on Reddit about like, are we really comfortable with making this the national game and putting all this effort into it being the rivalry game? And like, it was so amazing for it to turn out the way it did.
I know. I was glad that it did, just because they've been 1-0 and 1-1, stuff like that. They've been kind of boring during the regular season. This was a bit different.
Yeah.
And even if the game itself is boring, like we had in last year's rivalry week when there was only like one goal, right, in the 89th minute by who was it? Ryan Johnson, I think.
Yeah.
It's still amazing. Like the atmosphere surrounding it, especially that first game, is just incredible. And that's what we're trying to show to the American public is like we're really freaking excited about our soccer teams, guys. Like more excited than you are about your baseball or basketball teams or what have you. So
Eat it, baseball.
Yeah.
That sounded like a normal sarcastic thing I would say, but I really just like baseball.
I don't want to transition to the USA-Mexico game yet, but the excited about our soccer, I have to say that ESPN commercial for the World Cup with the AO and whatnot was just amazing.
How are you going to throw that out there and then not let me use it as a segue?
That's what Ian does with editing.
Are we just going to move past all the other MLS games that happened?
That's what I said. I don't want to jump there yet. I just said excited about soccer, and the first thing I thought of was how amazing that video was.
I kind of wanted to talk about how there are two things I want to talk about. RSL SKC, I don't want to talk about that. Just kidding. I want to talk about Dallas Houston, and I want to talk about Columbus's team, or Chris's team, laying an egg this last weekend.
Oh, shots fired.
We don't have to agree to disagree, but we can talk about it.
Are you going to agree to disagree that there were goals scored by Columbus? Or
well, okay. They got a 0. Sorry. But it wasn't as bad as the term laid an egg makes it sound. I'll put it that way. Which did you want to talk about first, Ian? Because I'm ready to go.
So remember when we talked about how Dallas is overrated, probably?
Yeah, I remember that.
They might not be.
No, yeah, I feel like they might not be as well.
I think watching them come out...
They weren't overrated last season.
What's that?
Whatever.
I said they weren't overrated last season when they started this hot, right?
I don't know. I never really bought into them last season, to be honest. I have more cause to this year for some reason because I believe in Oscar Pareja. I believe in Mauro Diaz.
Yep,
I don't know that. I mean, Mauro Diaz is a rookie, and there's always that period where MLS teams adjust to hot rookies, but that usually doesn't happen until later, like the second half, and really it doesn't happen until that first off season where people really have a chance to sit down and look at tape. That's what happened with Nick DeLeon after his almost Rookie of the Year campaign in 2012. So Mauro Diaz is going to, continue lighting it up, I think, and. They've got 3 DPs that are young, 3 young DPs. That's their designation, and that's Pereira's wheelhouse. I mean, that's what he works with. And boy, watching their midfield after Houston went down to 10 men on an admittedly soft red card, but still, was incredible. I mean, you don't see MLS teams take advantage of there being one less player on the opposition quite as well as Dallas did immediately. Like they scored I think they scored all 3 of their goals in the ensuing 10 minutes, and Houston just had no answer for it.
Yeah, and Houston is a team that is built to be defensive and can sit back with 10 men behind the ball, and nothing they could do. I mean, like you said.